Saraswati Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandavaya Cha Nandavakumaraaya Guruvaya Namaha Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Vishnu Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Acharya Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyadesh Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So continuing with 18.14, the 5 causes of any action. So we are discussing the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita actually. 18.14. I think 13 we have completed, right? Panchaitani Mahabhavo Karanani Nibodhame Shanke Kritanti Bhaktani Siddhe Sarvakarmanam. Almighty and Brethren, according to Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all action. Now learn of these from me. I'm going to share. Prepare my laptop screen. Yes. You finished the 13th verse, right? Yes, bro?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Let's go to 14. Adishtanam tata karanam cha pratadvitam vitascha pratakchesha dhinam chaitra panchamam. Yes. Someone can do the translation.
The place of action, the body, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the supersoul. These are the 5 factors of action. The word adhishthanam refers to the body. The soul within the body is acting to bring about the results of activity and is therefore known as karta, the doer. That the soul is the knower and the doer is stated in the Shruti. Isha hi drishta shrestha. Prasanna Upanishad 4.9. It is also confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra by the verses Gnyota Eva 2.3.18 and Karta Shastra Vartavat 2.3.33. The instruments of actions are the senses, and by the senses the soul acts in various ways. For each and every action there is a different endeavor, but all one's activities depend on the will of the Supersoul, who is seated within the heart as a friend. The Supreme Lord is the super cause. Under these circumstances, he who is acting in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the Supersoul situated within the heart is naturally not bound by any activity. Thus, those in complete Krishna consciousness are not ultimately responsible for their action. Everything is dependent on the Supreme Will, the Supersoul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Tejas, you can now share the screen. I just want to see the video.
I'm sharing, Prabhuji.
You can stop sharing and allow me to share this. Yeah, thank you. Yes. 5 factors of the body: the false ego, the senses of various types, the life airs with various functions, and supersoul. Body, adhishtanam, place. Adhishtanam, then tathagata, the various senses, karan, pratagvidam, endeavor, and cheshta, the super soul. Adhishtanam tata karta karanam chit pratak vidam vividascha pratak cheshta daivam vividam cha pratak cheshta is endeavor and daivam cha vichayvatra panchamam, super soul. So these are the five endeavors which has been mentioned. Yes. Chakrupal writes, the five causes are listed. The body, karta, ahankar, which ties to the interest of the body. Krishna does not include the jiva as a factor in the action because in the next verse the Lord explains that jiva is not a doer. Karanam means senses of many types, such as eyes or ears. Testa refers to the life airs such as prana and apana, which have various functions. Daiva refers to Antaryami, who sets everything in motion. Yes. Bhaktivedanta Bhushan takes Prabhupada purport only. He says that which is ruled by the jiva is called Adhishtanam. And then the doer, Karta is the jiva, not the false ego. And jiva is the knower and the doer in statements such as Eshahi Drashta Shashta, he is the seer and the doer. The false ego and the jiva is like basically one step ahead, that's it, one step down. Karanam refers to the senses like the ear and the mental faculties. And they have different functions in accomplishing the action. Pratak Cheshta refers to different functions of various types of prana. Daivam refers to the Param Brahma, worthy of worship by all, the fifth element in the accomplishment of action among the actions. This means the Lord Hari, the Antaryam, is the chief cause. Those who are convinced that the body, senses, prana, and jivas are only assistant causes and the Lord is the initiator of actions. Those people who thus reject the desire for results for themselves and concept of being the doer are consequently not bound by actions. Basically, whose antakaran is purified, like we saw. What is the whole purpose of doing the panchagya? The purpose of doing the panchagya is that one's chitta, one's antakaran, one's consciousness is purified. The whole goal of our sadhana, whether you do jnana sadhana, whether one does bhakti sadhana, or whether one does karma, basically karma connected to jnana, or in the mode of nishkama karma yogi, that is jnana, in mode of bhakti mishra karma, karma mishra bhakti, not bhakti mishra karma, karma mishra bhakti. There also the whole mode is to purify consciousness. If that is not there, rather than that, if we are thinking passion and ignorance is being increased despite doing bhakti, so that will not purify as much than the goodness, bhakti and goodness. Yes. So the liberated jiva should not be the agent because he no longer has a body, senses, and pranas. No, that is not so, because liberated souls have spiritual senses and body by which to accomplish their desire. That is Bhaktivedanta devotion. Shariram van manoviryat karma prarabhate nara nyayam va viparitam va panchaite tasya hetava. Yes, someone else can read.
Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind, or speech is caused by these five factors. Is purport. The words right and wrong are very significant in this verse. Right work is work done in terms of prescribed directions in the scriptures. And wrong work is the work done against the principle of scripture injunctions. But whatever is done requires these five factors for its complete performance.
Right and wrong are very significant in this verse. So what is prescribed in scriptures is right, and what is not is wrong. But whatever is done requires the five factors for its complete performance. Whether you do right thing, you need five things. Whether you do wrong thing, you need five things. And what is right and wrong? It's a scale. Who decides? The scriptures, the Vedas. They decide what has to be done, what has not to be done. Yes, read Chakuriti Par's purport.
Actions are of three types: physical, vocal, and mental. These are all of two types: following dharma, jnanam, or not following dharma, viparitam. The five are causes of all these actions.
In Shloka there is Dharmam and Viparitam. Shariram van manoviryat karma prarabdhinara nyayam. Nyayam va viparitam va panchaiti tasya hetava. So whether you do dharmic or whether you do adharmic, The conclusion is very simple. We need all these 5 senses. Whether you do papa, whether you do sanctioned, you do karma or akarma or vikarma, you need these 5. Without this, we can't do. That means we are dependent on these 5 factors. Tatraivam sati kartaram atmanam kevalam tuya pashyati akrata buddhitvam nasa pashyati durmati. Yes, someone else can read.
Therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are.
Yeah. Which person in which modes will think like this? According to 18.16, who can tell?
Passion.
Which? Because the goodness person will think as he is acting on behalf. But the only person in ignorance, he doesn't think only what he is doing. He is lost. He is lazy. But the passion person is crazy, thinking that I am doer. So I want to control. When control is not possible, he becomes angry. When control is possible, he becomes greedy. And the whole life goes on thinking. whole life goes on thinking I am the doer. Where is the purification? Because of that, he becomes Kailas. He becomes a dog, then he becomes a snake. Why passion? Passion breeds body. Passion, what happens? Passion doesn't close with this one body. Passion keeps on increasing, breeding. What is the meaning of breeding? Producing new bodies. That is the issue. Therefore, it is told. The issue with us is present world is 2026 Gen Z or whatever you speak of, any in general, millennials or baby boomers or whatever you say, they think that we are the doers. The doership mentality is so strong. And the whole purpose of Bhagavad Gita is Swadhyaya. We read scriptures, we read Bhagavad Gita so that we understand we are not the doers. Because Krishna is telling Arjuna, you are not the killer. You are fighting on my behalf. But you're fighting which one? Nyayam, not Viparya. You're not fighting based on your own whims. You're fighting based on the scriptures. And this scriptural fighting, which is Dharmic Yudh, if you fight in a proper consciousness on my behalf, it will give you Antakaran Shuddhi. You will not be passionate. And when it's goodness, the result of goodness is one's consciousness is purified. And when one's consciousness is purified, that purified consciousness, there will be cessation of material desires and material bodies. We don't have to become like Kailash. We become like Mrigarari, who, on the instruction of Narada Muni, break this bow. Yes, I'll break this bow. As soon as he broke that bow, started chanting, and although he was a hunter, wanted meat, but then what happened? There was so much of abundance because he followed the Guru's instruction. He started chanting. He took shelter of because he understood I'm not the doer. And then everything was given in abundance. And to that extent that people started coming and giving, they had to open Annamrit kitchen, food for life. And then Parvat Muni and Narad Muni had to come and see him. See what happened to a cruel-hearted hunter become flower-like devotee. What is the difference between Kailash and Mrigarari? Kailash was in a mood of passion, doership. Mrigarari somehow although was very sinful because of the mercy of Narad Muni, because of his faith he had in the instruction, because he accepted that instruction, whether it's scripture or a devotee, he came to goodness and he could purify his consciousness. Therefore, the Antakaran Shuddhi is very, very important. If that happens, so in one life one can go back to order. If that doesn't happen, then a dog, a snake, and then some mercy for devotee, the 3 lifetimes. Like in case of Bharat Maharaj, yeah, again it's the case of mercy of Lord. He wanted to show special mercy. It's a unique case where a person at the level of Baba, he accepted the body of a deer and then became Jada Bharat for teaching us in Bhagavatam so that we understand the futility of material world, futility of what this world means. So therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. That is passion. As some of you told, that's passion. Yes. Please read the purport.
Foolish person cannot understand that the super soul is sitting as a friend within and conducting his actions. Although the material causes are the place, the material causes are the place, the worker, the endeavor, and the senses. The final cause is the supreme, the personality of Godhead. Therefore, one should see not only the four material causes, but the supreme efficient cause as well. One who does not see the supreme thinks himself to be the doer.
Therefore, general in passion and ignorance, one is unable to see. In ignorance, so one cannot see anything. He's just completely lazy and he's like completely in procrastination mode. But in passion, a person thinks, I'm doing it, I'm doing it, I'm doing it. And he's unable to see. Chitraketu Maharaj, when he wanted to have a son, or Kailash. And there's so many cases where Prachinabari, where he is performing so many sacrifices before going to, he thought that because of the sacrifices, karmakanda sacrifices, I may go be elevated to heaven. But when Narad Muni entered their life, Dhruv Maharaj, I want a kingdom greater than my great grandfather. But what was one saving grace in all their life? Narad Muni. The one common factor was Narad Muni, a devotee, a sadhaka devotee or a active, he is a Shuddha Bhakta. Whether you see him as sadhaka bhakta, Narad Muni as a perfected soul, as sadhana siddha, arniti siddha, whatever it is, they got their association of Narad Muni. And because of that, Prachinabari immediately understood from Puranjan section, the story of Puranjan, understood, okay, how karma and sacrifices cannot give one happiness. And then Dhruv Maharaj, Ortho is Artharthi, then he understood Kachan Vichinman, that what is the use of these glasses of material accomplishments. I have got a diamond of Lord Krishna. Rama Ratana Dana Bhaga. That means what? Lord is like a Ratan, which is like a diamond. And then, which example I gave? Prachinabari, Dhruv Maharaj. The third one is Kailash. Kailash case is a different case, that Narad Muni showed some mercy and the snake died in front of him seeing him. That is Balotpadika. But whatever it is, the whole thing is, don't think that the destination of all of them was same. Based on one consciousness, one gets Salokya Mukti, Shantarati, or the fire essence in the spiritual world. That is what uh, Bhakti Thakur writes in Harinam Chintamani. Ajamila chanted the holy names and went to Vaikuntha, but that chanting was in Namabhas, and that can give you Vaikuntha. But he writes, if you can chant out of affection, with the service, with the mood of mamata, with the mood of serving the Lord, with the mood of affection for the Lord, in whatever rasa, whether in dasya rasa, shanta rasa, or sakya rasa, vatsalya rasa, madhurya rasa, basically raganuga bhakti. With affection one does it, not by imagining. First of all, we should come to Karma Mishra, then Jnana Mishra, then Dhrida Vrata, and then Madhyama, then Uttama. Basically, the affection is very important. Performance of bhakti in a stereotype way, okay, we have to do it in mechanical, that can give us mukti, that may give us salokya mukti, but not the vraja prem, not the vraja bhakti. That is what the acharyas mentioned. Again, this the mechanical chanting means doesn't mean that okay, you just chant and there is no consciousness. There is some reverence. Again, don't consider karma bhakti to be very less. It's like Dhruv Maharaj is a karma bhakta. Can you imagine? Gajendra is a karma bhakta. But what kind of chanting way it was? Jajapyam, Paramam Japyam. That means the concentration was so intense. What was Dhruv Maharaj's intensity? Tivrena Bhakti Yogena, Yate Purusham Param. So our bhakti is not nowhere near to all these bhaktis. So that kind of bhakti can fetch us Salokya Mukti. That is what the point we are making here. Just not whatever we are doing right now, that may not fetch us. So we have to become intense with our own practice. So, in passion, one cannot see. One sees oneself as a doer. That is the issue. Chakrutipat, can you read, Prabhu? What happens in passion?
Then what happens? Though these five are causes of action, tatra evam, one who sees only that the self, the jiva, is the doer, though actually the jiva is not associated with action at all, does not see being a fool, durmati, because of impure intelligence, akrita buddhitvat. One may say that such a foolish person is blind.
Yes, because of akrita buddhitva means impure intelligence. What is the meaning of impure intelligence? Antakaran is not purified. Antakaran is impure. Because of that, what happens? One cannot see. One becomes blind. One thinks I am the doer. Like most of us think, I cannot sit and chant, I cannot sit and read. Oh, I have to do so much of management and I have to do all these things. I have to be accessible to everything. When we sleep 6 hours, we don't lift a call. We think things will move from here to there. But when we want to chant Hare Krishna, we want to reply WhatsApp messages, we want to answer the call. When we are sitting for reading or when you sit for hearing a class, we think if I don't answer this call, then something will stuck up. Can you imagine? Have you thought of this? When 9 o'clock you sleep and morning you get up at 3:34 and any call you answer in the middle of the night, even if emergency comes, mobile is in the silent mode. So for 6 hours you never take a reply back any messages or company mails or any calls. But when it comes to morning sadhana, 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, we feel 6 hours nothing has happened, but in 3 hours if I don't answer something will happen. But I'm not telling any one of you. I'm just saying, just think on this concept. That means we can actually make our sadhana gadget free from this. 6 hours is bigger or 3 hours is bigger. And 6 hours nothing has happened. How can something will happen in 3 hours? And you set that priority. People understand. Even relatives understand. Okay, 9 o'clock he is busy with something, so we should not touch him. Even your company people will understand. Even if devotees are staying in and understand. Okay, let's not. If we start from our side initiating it, then people also understand. Like in Japa, when you're standing Japa, if you start answering, if you start speaking with devotees, then they'll purposely come and speak with you during the Japa time. If you tell, wait for some time, I want to complete this round, then they'll not touch you during the Japa time. And if you tell them, Prabhu, class is going on, if you text them, Prabhu, class is going, can I call you after some time? Healthy boundary. And they will not touch you during the class time. Because it's about, you have a home, and whenever anybody is coming, you open the door. You have seen the doctors, what they tell? Visiting time, 9:30 to 1:30, and then 5 to 9:30. And you have to go there, then I have to go 1 hour before and sit in line. Similarly, what he is doing is he is setting his timing. Similarly, we set a timing and we can become gadget free so that we have time for absorbed chanting, reading, hearing. And in that way, we can rise above the passion and come to sattva. You understand? The passion is in such a like bubble gum. You catch somebody has chewed and kept under the desk, and you go and catch it. It becomes your hand. Our hand becomes sticky. We have to practically go and wash the hand with soap or some oil, and then the bubble gum. Passion is like that. It's not so easy to remove. Once we get into the ignorance mode and passion mode, it takes lot of tapasya. It takes lot of sattva, endeavor, initiative to really overcome it. And what happens when you are in good passion and ignorance? Our chanting, our reading, our hearing is not, there's no absorption in it. We may log in the class and we have full internet on our mobile and we'll be browsing something. Or we'll be doing multitasking anything. Or we'll be thinking, oh, how I have to be practical. But what is the thing? Even Bharat Maharaj, when he went to the level of Bhava, when he got attached to the deer, what is the attachment to the deer? Passion. Passion was activated. He had to take the lives. So therefore, it's by nature of the modes. What is the nature of modes? That it will bring us to bodily consciousness. It will make us understand that we are in a bodily concept of life. That is a problem. Because of impure intelligence, one may say that such a foolish person is blind. Then what happens? Bhaktivedanta, what is writing? Read.
Then what happens? Though the jiva's acting as doer takes place only with permission of the Lord and depends upon the body and senses given by the Lord, evam, he who sees only the jiva as the doer in his action, tatra, called a fool, durmati, because of lack of that knowledge, does not see. He is like a blind man.
Yeah, so this is a very important concept, which is a very important shloka, which is very practical for our life. Why? Because to the degree we see ourselves as a doer, how to understand that we see things as doer? We have a time, prescribed time kept for our personal private time. When it comes to bodily recuperation, as I said about the night sleep and day sleep, we keep a flight mode and activate. I don't know about most of you. If somebody wants to sleep, they keep flight mode and just keep, if they get calls, no issue. Once I get up, I'll activate and reply. Yes or no? So bodily healing, for the bodily healing, we are so concerned. What to speak of our sadhana? If you want to really heal our sadhana from passion and ignorance to goodness, we'll have to set healthy boundaries. We need to set. If you don't do it, because world is surrounded by people who are passionate and ignorant. The people, first year, the second year, the third years, whatever it is, even ourselves, by default, we are in passion and ignorance, because body will drag us to passion and ignorance. And we are surrounded by people who are in passion and ignorance. They maybe have element of goodness in it, but unless and otherwise we don't prioritize our reading time, hearing time, all this time, because by nature, the activity of preaching, is in passion. It's spiritual. If your consciousness is there, this is on my behalf of my Guru. This is Prabhupada has told it. This is for the pleasure of Prabhupada. This is for the pleasure of Guru. If that is the case, preaching is meant for pleasure of Prabhupada and pleasure of Guru and pleasure of Vaishnavas, pleasure of Radheshyam Guru, something like that. Then what about chanting Hare Krishna and attending Bhakti Shastri class and reading Prabhupada books? That is also meant for pleasure of all these personalities, right? Like the way we do preaching, although we may tag it as a pleasure of somebody, but when it gets into the action, we are in like, we roll our sleeves and get into the action, and passion is generated. When we want to sit for sadhana, we are getting into the management mode. Somebody's coming and saying, Prabhu, this rice has got what to do. Passion is activated. So therefore, by default, our whole day is in passion and ignorance, and because of that, there's no planning, and because of that, there's no purchasing, and before that everything comes in the morning program. So how to fix it? Planning. We have to prioritize things. We have to prioritize our sadhana. We have to set healthy boundaries. We have to take out time before sleeping, 1 hour before sleeping at the night, half an hour. If somebody's OC, somebody's a PM, somebody's a PC, what to do the next day. And when deadlines come, still we should have heavy boundaries. 9 to 9, Prabhu, that's it. Unless otherwise it's an emergency and your brahmachari preacher comes and tells her comes and tells Prabhu, this is an emergency case, we need to extend beyond 9, that's fine. But not on a regular basis. Regularly 9:30 it is crossing, and sleeping is becoming like 9:30, 10, 11. Passion ignorance is in full swing. Getting up in the morning becomes tough. Passion ignorance in full swing. So we have to, if you want to go long way, whether it is sadhana, whether it is preaching, whether anything in our life, especially as a sadhaka, practicing devotee, we need to activate goodness. Passion should be guided by goodness. We have to be grounded in terms of sadhana. The morning 4:30 to 7:38 till the Mangala Arati, we should be sitting. If not, we should be standing. In worst case, you can walk and chant. We need grounding. Otherwise, it's not so easy to understand that Krishna is a doer, our Guru is a doer. We are acting on his part. No, it's not so easy. I'm telling because this Bhakti Shastri will get over. But the activities of preaching, the activities of other things, which are actually purifying, but if we don't do it in a proper consciousness, that can also purify us, because there is every possibility of getting carried away. Please take. Why I'm telling this, because our movement has seen time in and time out so many cases. Passion, ignorance, there is no endurance in that. Only in goodness there is endurance. Yasya naham krato bhava buddhiriyasya na lupyate hatvapi sa iman loka na hanti na nibadyate. Yes, it's 17th shloka.
one who is not motivated by false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled, though he kills men in this world, does not kill, nor is he bound by his actions.
Yes, this is about a mode of which person, which mode? Which mode is active here? Yes, Rishang Prabhu, which mode?
Is it goodness, Roji?
You should not ask question, is this goodness?
Sorry,
You should tell.
is good. The goodness would.
Because he can see things as it is. He can say yes and he can say no and doesn't need. He can start a thing and he can stop a thing. That is in his control and goodness, because his intelligence has become very clear. One who is not motivated by false ego. Goodness, no motivation from false ego. Whose intelligence is not entangled, can see things as they are. Though he kills men in this world, does not kill, nor is bound by action. And the Antikaran is getting purified because he knows who is the doer. Yes, Prabhu, read the purport.
In this verse, Lord informs Arjuna that the desire not to fight arises from false ego. Arjuna thought himself to be the doer of action, but he did not consider the supreme sanction within and without. If one does not know that a super sanction is there, why should he act? But one who knows the instrument of work, himself as the worker, and the Supreme Lord as the supreme sanctioner is perfect in doing everything. Such a person is never in illusion. Personal activity and responsibility arise from false ego and godliness, or a lack of Krishna consciousness. Anyone who is acting in Krishna consciousness under direction of Super Soul or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though killing does not kill, nor is he ever affected by the action of such killing. When a soldier kills under the command of superior officer, he is not subject to be Judaized. But if a soldier kills on his own personal account, then he is certainly judged by a court of law.
Yes. So this is a simple example. That means acting on somebody's order, instruction, or under guidance is very important. Like wherever you get a doubt, should I do this? Should I not do this? If we are passionate, we will not ask, oh, I want need result. Like Prabhupada told, hook or crook, distribute my books. Now that Prabhupada never told it. Prabhupada, what he meant by hook or crook distribute, use your intelligence and generate new ideas, strategic. Hook or crook means use your strategy and try to distribute books. When people started thinking it, they can do anything. They can wear pant shirt. They can put hairs as brahmacharis, and they can get to the airport without permission. They can do anything and they can go late nights. They can go to bars. They can go to anywhere pubs, and they can go and distribute. And Prabhupada got to see it. The monk from being compromised, and then they become passion and ignorance are increasing. And what happens? Slowly they started eating outside. Slowly they started. The old habits started coming up. Old habits. Passion and ignorance is breeding ground of old habits. If anyone. Able to hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Basically, if you understand, like intelligence is a breeding ground for purification of consciousness. Antakaran Shuddhi is a breeding ground in goodness. Goodness is a breeding ground for purification of consciousness. Similarly, passion and ignorance is a breeding ground of what I told one thing. It's a breeding ground just before this line. Old habits, previous habits. So, if there is a relapse of previous habits in our life, previous bad habits, we can understand this passion and ignorance is full active, or we are going into that zone because of the relapses are there. If it is decreasing, the goodness is getting activated. If it is increasing, the passion and ignorance is activated. So we should consciously take this step and try to work on the this thing. Please read through this purport.
Vishnu Thakur,
हाँ
who then is intelligent with good eyes? One who does not have the nature of ahankara, ahanto bhava, who is not who is not thinking himself the doer, who is not attached to actions by thinking the actions will give good or bad results, jasya buddhir na lipyate, does not obtain reaction of karma. Who else can be said, though he may do pious or sinful acts, he does not do them. Though it may appear from ordinary vision that he has killed all these living beings, he does not kill from his own vision because he has no motive for the action. Therefore, he is not bound. He does not receive the reaction of karma.
correct ना, he is not bound. Yes, read Bhaktivedanta Vidyabhushan purport.
Who then is the wise man who has eyes to see? That person who has powers to think, bhava, knowing that his action is dependent on the Lord, and thus doer not think that he is the only doer, na ahankrata, whose intelligence is not contaminated by desire, the result of his action, na lipyate. Even though he has killed not just Bhishma but all others, Imul Lokan does not kill them, nor is he contaminated by the action of killing all of them.
Yeah. So basically, who is in goodness, he doesn't act on his own. He is not contaminated by the fruits of the result. His only thing is, how can I become a humble servant of my superiors, of Guru, Gauranga? And in that way, what happens? He understands any activity I do, I am responsible for the action. Therefore, let me be dharmic, let me follow the values, let me follow the principles, let me not go for pleasures, let me follow the principles. And in that way, his chitta becomes purified. In that way, step by step, every moment in his life, he gets purified, his consciousness gets purified, and he starts elevating his consciousness. And he's able to, in each and every step, he's able to see the hand of Lord, Guru, Gauranga in his life. On the other hand, when we act as doers in passion and ignorance, uh, we will not be able to even understand what browsing we are doing, how it is affecting us, what parallel processing we are doing, how much injurious it is to us. And we are completely in ignorance passion, it's like even if the class happens and we come across that point, still that keeps on continuing. It's so sad. We have only a speaker can pray for that student, or a brahmachari can pray for that inmate, or sorry, resident. So, anyways, this was from my side. Sorry for joining late. Our just voice has started, and we're shifting the whole thing, altar, kitchen, whole marketing is going on. So, and because of the last 2-3 days hectic, I'm not able to, because Wednesday, Thursday is our class. It completely missed out from my mind that I have a class. So I had to do some things here and then join. But tomorrow, yeah, it's fixed. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll start at 7. Today we also just left at 17. But what I'm telling, this Bhakti Shastri class is not just for finishing syllabus. Please don't take the practice of Bhakti as okay, I'll read book on my own. I will, yeah, surely we can read on your own. But we can only grasp with whatever intelligence we have. Because Antakarana has not become Shuddha. We can only see our own view. We can see side view, we can see front, we can't see the top view. So to the degree we prefer consciousness, to the degree we come to goodness, the knowledge is revealed. To the degree we start acting on behalf of the superiors or our Guru and Gauranga, the knowledge becomes revealed. Yasya bhakti, tasya bhakti paradevi yada devi taravu karthaita artha prakashante mahatmana. So by depending on the Lord and the Guru and the Vaishnavas, the knowledge becomes revealed. And that revealed knowledge will give the purifying effect of purifying consciousness. Otherwise, there is always a relapse of previous habits. Sometimes it's occasional, sometimes it's the frequency keeps on increasing. And in the initial stage, it happens. But as goodness increases, the habit starts dwindling, the frequency starts decreasing. Or if it's increasing, we should understand we have to work on our goodness. We need to read scriptures. We need to abide by principles rather than results and accomplishments. They are there. At the same time, if passion increases, we may not be able to do the same thing. We may not have the post of preaching coordinator. We may not have the post of OC. We may not have the post of even brahmachari. somebody else, that post will be filled by somebody else. That seva will go on. But what about purification of heart, Antakaran Shuddhi, that nobody else can do for us? I only have to do it for me. So that should be our top priority. And we need to align with that. Because other things, like we may be OC, we may be PC, we may be AM, we may be PM, we may be PA, whatever it is. If passion and ignorance increase, we will not be able to do it. And we will succumb to previous habits. And once succumb to previous habits, by default, you'll not be able to function in that particular role. If you're honest, if you're not honest, then it's like previous habits can go on and still Siva can go on. What will happen? That kind of students will come who will have the same hiding previous sanskaras, and it's like no transparency and there is no revealing, and it's what happens. The whole ambience of the whole center gets passion ignorance, and when the thought of passion ignorance happens, we keep on attracting people of that caliber. So it's very important as leaders, as working devotees who have spent 7-8 years, that we have integrity. We are really very open to whatever happens in our life, and we take help so that that kind of consciousness will attract boys of that consciousness. And center becomes completely enlivening. Center becomes completely of Antakaran Shuddhi principle. So this is the magic of principles, not of pleasure. If pleasure is a center, pleasure centric, then it becomes topsy-turvy. The whole samrajya becomes topsy-turvy. Whole samrajya of voice becomes topsy-turvy. If the purpose is purification of heart, then accordingly that kind of thought will attract. So it's a preaching movement. At the same time, Prabhupada taught purity is a force. Books are the basis. Preaching is the essence and utility is the principle. So books and purity. Reading books, we can think of purity. And then we can make preaching as essence, and then we can utilize things in Krishna's service. Okay? It's already 8:18. We'll join again tomorrow at 7 o'clock. We'll continue from 18th verse. Thank you, Hare Krishna. ओम श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, उपस्थित गौर भक्तवृंद की